I'm Angharad Collins, I'm Chief Exec of Torfaen Leisure Trust. What does my role involve? Well, at the moment, what my role involves is steering this big ship through the biggest storm that we've ever faced. So, it's strategically guiding the organisation through the COVID pandemic at the moment. So Torfaen Leisure Trust has been in existence since 2013 and it was transferred from the local authority into a leisure trust status. We run 5 sites in total: Pontypool that we're stood in today, Cwmbran Stadium, Fairwater Leisure Centre, Bowden Active Living Centre up at Ysgol Gofyn Gwynllew, and we also run the ski centre up in the park. So there's been some significant changes as a result of opening. So as you can see, we've just come through a one-way queuing system. We've had to implement physical distancing measures across all of our sites. We're following the UK Active Guidance. We're also following the Welsh Government guidance regarding the numbers that are allowed in our sites. So we are very strictly following the guidance. I'm not sure everybody is strictly following the guidance, but we certainly are. So the customer feedback, you can see on our Facebook pages and our Twitter pages, customer feedback has been absolutely immense. All of the planning that's happened over the last 4.5 months has very much come to the forefront now. So the feedback that we've had from our customers is that they feel safe, they feel secure. It's great to be back seeing the old team. So we've been able to return a significant amount of people from furlough, which has been brilliant. That's been quite emotional actually, to watch people walk back through the door. When you're hearing about different organisations making mass redundancies, we've been very lucky that we've been able to reintroduce a good batch of our team back into the business over the last 10 days. We'd encourage you to come and have a look. So every single time that you come into Torfaen Leisure Trust now, you have to have a booking to come through the doors. But we are able that if you give our bookings line a ring or drop us an email to memberships@torfaenleisuretrust.co.uk, we can actually tour you through the premises before you take out a membership to make sure that you feel comfortable. And I would encourage everybody that if they're feeling unsettled, have a look at some of the reviews that we've had over the last 10 days from customers who haven't been persuaded to place those reviews onto our Facebook and Twitter pages, and the reviews, they speak for themselves really. So for me, I've worked right the way through the pandemic, probably more hours than I've ever worked before. We're talking about 60, 70 hours a week. So I actually haven't been away from the centre. So for me, there's been no break in lockdown. It's been continuous, moving forward, fighting for the sector and ensuring that we keep TLT as stable as possible. So for me, it's a little bit different because I've been more busier than I've ever been before. And there's been a small retained team that have been working that have been extremely busy as well. For the people that have been furloughed, it's been really hard. So we've had a number of people who work for us at Torfaen Leisure Trust that don't know anything else apart from Torfaen Leisure Trust. And that's been really hard actually to have them at home. We've been very lucky that the weather's been good, so they've been able to benefit, from being in lockdown and taking their daily exercise. But for me, it's been probably the most testing time of my leadership career ever. I've said it to them in any case, but I'll say it again on camera that the majority of them gave 110% right the way through the period. There hasn't been a query over the hours that we've worked. They've gone above and beyond for what was required of them. And we really pulled together as a team just to make sure that we kept the centres as safe as possible in hibernation. So when we wrapped these up in cotton wool, we kept them as safe as we possibly could, but also as well that we were able to welcome the teams and customers back by ensuring that we were absolutely ready for wherever we were facing them as we opened. So they've done an amazing job. It's an absolute grateful thanks from myself and the board for the time that they spent as part of the retained team. So we've only been able to introduce at the moment the gyms. So the gyms are open at both Cwmbran Stadium and Pontypool Active Living Centre. The class timetables are on our website and they're also on our social media, so they've both been introduced at both centres. We've been able to introduce lane swim at both centres and they are working really, really well. And in addition to that, we've now been able to introduce family bubble swim. So we've also just introduced squash and badminton. So squash is in a household or an extended household, and badminton is singles badminton only. We've been able to bring back Cwmbran Harriers, Torfaen Football Academy, Gwent Hockey. We've been able to reintroduce the dolphins back into the pool, the otters back into the pool. So every single day as the restrictions are being reviewed, And every single day that we get an ease of the restrictions and we get the return to sport guidance from the national governing bodies, we're able to review what that impacts on Torfaen Leisure Trust to be a front runner in making sure that that sport comes back. I think one of the things that I would say to you is that the centre's very different to how it used to be. You at Vitalize Radio have been in our centres numerous times before. You know how bustling our centres are, you know how busy they are, you know that everybody's having coffee and singing happy birthday, or we normally have the dog cafe operating here, now it's just a queuing area. So I don't really know really. It will all depend how long we have to learn to live with COVID. You know, if we find a vaccination and COVID disappears as quick as it came, that's going to be fantastic. But it will all depend how long we're going through this journey. But we'll certainly listen to the customer feedback and then move forward and look at how we can implement and change things. As a sector, so as a leisure sector, we actually haven't benefited from anything currently. There has only been £200,000 of fresh money put into sport in Wales. We constantly work with Welsh Government and we're constantly flagging up to Welsh Government. Torfaen Leisure Trust has lost 1.8 million in lockdown. So this year we will lose 1.8 million. You know, we are very fortunate that in the past we've done events, we've been able to keep our bank balance quite buoyant, we've been able to steer a very steady ship. However, as the physical distancing measures and people don't have the confidence to come out into facilities, Welsh Government and central government need to really come forward with a rescue package. The Eat Out to Help Out scheme is brilliant, it's fantastic, but the irony is that we've got the Prime Minister talking about the obesity strategy, but yet we're encouraging people to go out and eat and eat and eat, but yet we haven't got a rescue package. So you will have seen on my Twitter and Facebook pages that I had promoted the Work Out to Help Out scheme. You know, we need to get some support in from central government, but we need a central message as well to say that 3 periods of physical activity per week can actually reduce their risk of catching COVID. So the more likelihood that you are of having an underlying health condition, we can actually solve that for just over £1 a day, but we definitely need somebody to come forward with some sort of rescue package. So I was fortunate enough to be asked to chair the facilities group in Wales, so I've been right at the heart of the discussions with Welsh Government, the WSA and Sport Wales, which has been really interesting, and I've really enjoyed that strategic part of my job. Welsh Government have been supportive in certain aspects, however, they need to understand that actually the package that's been put to Sport Wales isn't the rescue package that the leisure industry needs. So we continue to work very, very closely with them on the impact on the sector in Wales. But we're all fighting as hard as we possibly can to keep the sector afloat. So we're waiting for guidance on mass gatherings, and obviously that hasn't come out yet. I did see that somebody in England, obviously with 1 metre distance, had put in squares and you sit on the squares and everything, and you know I'm always up for a challenge. I think that the people in Torfaen really enjoyed the event at Torfaen Leisure Trust, so where there's a will, there's going to be a way. So watch this space.
Vitalize Radio. Listen online at vitalize.org.uk.